So Morgan Gibbs-White signs up with a new agent, and apparently that means he's going to Spurs. Welcome to your transfer news. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to your latest Forest transfer news. Coming up, we'll give you all the details on Morgan Gibbs-White. We'll talk about a link with a World Cup finalist who will be playing in the final tonight, and we'll have a quick chat about the game yesterday. So make sure you've liked, make sure you've subscribed, and make sure you check out Oxford Natural because, look at me guys, I've lost about 3 kilos so far, so I gotta say this is doing wonders, and especially when I'm using the Optimum Day as well. What's that's doing for me is stopping me from getting snacks reaching into the crisp cupboard in between my main meals. So I really do recommend it. And you can also see I'm catching up. Robbie, look how much weight he's lost as well. So I'm on that. And if you want to get involved, you can get 70% off your first order if you use code FFTV. So scan the QR code or check the link that's in the description. Big up to Oxford Natural. I'm getting back to my old self. Anyway, let's get into the news and let's talk about Morgan Gibbs-White. So this was triggered by Romano yesterday. He put out a tweet saying Morgan Gibbs-White has signed with Roof as new agency to represent him and take next step for future from now on. The end. And from those 2 lines, I've seen an absolute meltdown. In fact, I've had meltdown from you guys as well. I've had loads of DMs saying, yo, is Gibbs-White leaving? What's going on here? There was rumours about Spurs rekindling with Forest and the whole Bergvall deal. Could there be a switch with Morgan Gibbs-White the other way? There's talks about a Villa going to come in and sweep because they've just sold Morgan Rogers to Chelsea, who hijacked Arsenal for 117 million on him. I think there's, and then the other thing that made me laugh was the fact that because Kudos, who went from West Ham to Spurs, is under the same agency, then that means that obviously Gibbs-White is going to go to Spurs. But that could mean, if you want to use that logic, that Gibbs-White's going to go to Liverpool because Virgil van Dijk is with Roof. If you want to go a step further, Kai Havertz is with them as well. So maybe he's going to Arsenal. Or maybe he's going to Atalanta because Lookman is signed up with them. There's so much stretching going on in terms of what's happening. Now, here's my understanding of the Gibbs-White situation. I still firmly believe Gibbs-White is going to sign yet another new contract at Forest. Gibbs-White is settled. Gibbs-White is happy at Forest. Gibbs-White is getting a lot of money at Forest as well. Let's not forget that. On top of that, there was this other post that went round because his wife, Brittany, was putting up pictures of packing boxes because they're moving house. So that means he's going to Spurs. I don't see Gibbs-White. The only way, let me put it this way, the only way I see Gibbs-White leaving Forest if someone comes with 100 million. I reckon Marinakis probably rates Gibbs-White about 90 to 100 million minimum, absolute minimum. And now that we've seen Morgan Rogers go for 117 million, I wouldn't be surprised if Marinakis said, fine, if you want Gibbs-White, it's going to cost you 118 million. We've got to break the record that we already broke that's been broken. So I would say don't read too much into this, but do understand that if a club comes in with silly money, with massive amounts of cash, that Forest will have to listen and talk because the money could be silly in it. But the stance from Forest is simply this. We are not looking to sell any more players. And when I say any more players, I'm talking the core, your Gibbs-White, your Murillos, your Milenkovic's, etc. These are the ones that Glasner needs to build on. Also, what kind of look is it for Forest? Glasner comes in, and one of the reasons he left Crystal Palace was because they were selling players left, right and centre. When Gahey got sold, Mateta was going to go. Eze went in the summer. All the big assets were always on sale. And this is probably one of the discussions he's had with Marinakis to avoid this. So Gibbs-White changing for me, and this is just my take on it, to Roof, is probably because he's looking to negotiate another contract with Forest, would be my guess at it. And in fact, it's a bit more of an educated guess because for weeks I've been hearing that Gibbs-White will be signing a new contract. I also heard Murillo was signing a new contract. He did. Nico Williams being offered a new contract. We're seeing that's pretty much done as well. So I wouldn't look too much into it. But that's the Gibbs-White news. Maybe you guys disagree. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Now, let's move on to some more transfer news, some speculation doing the rounds, and that's on Tagliafico. Now, this is off the back of the tweet from Nicolo Siricchia. who said that Deportiva and Forest have shown interest in Lyon's left back, Tagliafico, open talks. So, look, Tagliafico, I think, was a very good player 5 years ago. Forest, if I remember, I'm pretty sure we did videos on Forest being linked with him back in Cooper's days when he was pushing 29, 30. Anyway, he's 33 now. Yes, he's a good defender, but I just don't think he's got the legs for the Premier League. This one doesn't excite me at all. I don't know how much it would cost. I don't know how, big the interest is from Forest. We will keep you posted, but I don't want to hear the narrative if Argentina were to win the World Cup tonight. Oh, the two-time World Cup winner. All right, cool. We had Montiel, who won the World Cup at right back, and he was rubbish at Forest. And he'll be a two-time winner if Argentina win it. By the way, who are you backing tonight? I'm fully Spain tonight. Come on, Spain. So, look, there are links to Tagliafico. What this does tell us, though, is still there is a lot of focus on those defensive positions. We know Glasner wants another centre-back, and we know we need cover in the full-back, or should I say wing-back positions now. So Tagliafico is a name being touted. I don't think he suits Glasner's high-energy requirements with the wing-backs, so I'm not quite sure what the point of this one would be, but who knows? I could be wrong. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on that one. And then moving on to the game yesterday, I gotta say, now, I know I'm going to get in the comments. I'm going to get minutes and legs. It means nothing. I hear it all, okay? I don't care, because I do believe that preseason does sometimes have an impact on what happens at the very least towards the start of the season, especially when you got a new manager. If you look at last season's preseason, we scored 1 goal in like 6 or 7 games. It was embarrassing. And apart from the Brentford game, we just then fell off towards the start of the season. Okay, there's all the Nuno stuff going on and stuff. Blah, blah. I get it. But I just feel like you want to go into the new season with momentum. We scored double the amount of goals it took us all last summer in basically 55 minutes yesterday. And I have to say, I enjoyed the second half more than I did the first half. I was really impressed with Callum Mwendo playing in that left 10. I was really impressed with Bakwa on the right-hand side. I thought Eric Da Silva looked very good. I thought Ryan Yates was brilliant in the first half as well. So there was a lot of positives to see in that game. And you know what? You can kind of compare it to previous county games we've had in pre-season. Okay, they're not like, competitive or anything like that. But you started to see in that second half, especially, some patterns of play. There was a little more pressing. There was a little more, triangle passes going on. Forest were pushing up the pitch. There's just the little embryonic stages of why I'm getting excited about Glasner being here. And I thought his interview afterwards was very good, said exactly the right things. This needs improving, that started to work and what have you. And these are all little signs that things are going in the right direction. And let's not forget as well, this is with a squad that's had no upgrades yet. In fact, we've been downgraded, if you like, because we've lost Elliot Anderson. We still don't have Sangare in that squad. Chris Wood still wasn't in that squad. Who else? I can't even think. Dan Ndoye wasn't in that squad. Callum Hudson-Odoi, Murillo. So there's still a lot of heavy hitters in there that weren't even on that pitch. And I get it, it's Notts County, and with all due respect to them, we are worlds apart right now. I know we're only a Trent apart in geography terms, but in terms of footballing terms, we are worlds apart. But these are important games that Glasner starts to get a feel for who those fringe players are that maybe were overlooked. McAtee, Callum Mwendo, those type of players may now get a chance under Glasner, and he may be able to get an extra 10-20% out of them. I thought it was interesting that he put McAtee in an 8, trying to use a more attacking 8 of the two rather than like double sixes, for example. So I can't wait to see the next couple of games, see how things develop and everything else. But in general, I thought there was so many positives and very, very little negatives to take away from that. But how did you feel about the game? Did you prefer the first half or the second half? For me, 100% the second half. And that's your Forest news, ladies and gents. Get your thoughts in on all of that. What do you think is going to happen with Gibbs White? Would you take Tagliafico? And how good was that game yesterday? Make sure you've liked, subscribed, and go check out Oxford Natural. Use code FFTV, and we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.